Hi, I'm Lael McDill, the maker of Silly Millies Millie Fiore canes, and I'm going to tell you some of the basic things you need to know about Silly Millies. So, first of all, a Silly Millie is a slice and bake polymer clay cane that you can bake in your own oven. So this is the large size, which is about the diameter of a quarter and about 2 inches long. And they run $9.50 a pack, and this is the small size, which is the same length but about the diameter of a dime, and it runs $5.50 for a pack. The large size has about twice as much clay in it as the small size. So the basic tools you'll need is just a cutting tool and a toothpick if you're going to make beads to go with your Silly Millie. So this one I have has a dolphin in it. It's ready to get sliced and baked. So all I'm going to do is always hold my cutting tool so that the blade is facing down. I've got little tabs on mine. These are the kind that I sell with the little duct tape on the bottom to keep your little fingers protected. And I always point my Millie Fiore Silly Millie at me when I am about to slice it. And look straight down on it and make a slice for a bead would be about a quarter of an inch or 5/8 of an inch, because you're going to poke through the side. So you want it to be thick enough to poke through. And I can cut as many as I want to. I usually do 1 slice or 2 slices and then do my poke and see how it goes. I'm going to just hold it in my hand like this and poke right through until I can feel that toothpick just barely poking out. And then I'll turn it over and I'll poke that in there again. So that kind of gets the puckering going in both ways and works out really nice. If you have any cracking when you first do your first poke, that just means you might need to warm your cane up just a little bit, just holding it in your hands for a little while, kind of squishing it this way and squishing it that way just a little while will really help. Most of the time you won't need to do that. Just it means that it needs a little warming up. So that brings us to the idea that you can change the size of your Silly Millie. So if you wanted to make it smaller, you would just roll it like this. You'd get as small of a diameter as you want to. Now some designs will really show up well even when they get really tiny. Some will be a little bit harder to see what they are just because they're more detailed. So you can see how I just rolled that, did a little stretching and a little rolling. And now I've got it small. I'll just cut it in the middle so I can see how it looks when it's tiny. So I could cut small beads with this too. If you have a larger cane, you can always roll the whole thing out to make it as small as a small cane. And you just keep kind of warming it up and rolling it, and it will get smaller and smaller. But I also want to show you how you can make it bigger. So you could do this with either your small Silly Millie or your large Silly Millie. If you want to make the whole entire Silly Millie bigger, you want to lay it on end and press it down like that. So you can see how it's getting wider in diameter. And sometimes it just takes a couple of times. Another thing you can do is you can slice it a little bit thicker, and then you can use a rolling pin. Sometimes a marker works just as good as an official rolling pin to flatten it more this way. So this would probably not be a bead, obviously, it's too thin, but it would be a really great pendant, a pin, or a magnet. So that's how you can make your Silly Millie bigger and smaller and how to poke holes. If you don't know where to get Silly Millies, just check out claysquared.com. Have fun!